Lenny Tanusubandari was in the kitchen of her restaurant the day the ground shook.
I ran out of the building screaming, "God help me, God help me." The building began to shake. At first I thought it was an airplane that had crashed nearby, and then, in a matter of seconds, my kitchen was on fire.
Lenny believes that if it hadn't been for God's protection and the kindness of strangers, she and her family would not be alive today.
I know Jesus was helping us. He used many people, not just Christians, to help put out the fire.
Almost a month after a deadly earthquake struck Indonesia's West Sumatra province, killing over 1,000 people and leaving more than 500,000 people homeless, Lenny Tanusubandari and countless other Indonesian Christians have been working around the clock to help survivors.
So many people here are still suffering. I can't bear to see others suffer. So I help by cooking, preparing meals for them. I love to cook.
She erected this makeshift relief tent next to her badly damaged church.
The church is practically unusable. It sustained severe damage during the earthquake. We're very sad about this, but we have an opportunity to demonstrate God's love in the midst of this crisis. Many of our church members lost their homes, yet they're out here helping others.
Indonesia is the world's largest Muslim nation. About 8% of the population is Christian, a number that's even smaller here in West Sumatra. There are just a handful of churches in the entire province, and now many of them, like the Batak Protestant Church, lie in ruins. The earthquake could not have happened at a more inopportune time for the members of this congregation. You see, in the last few months, they spent thousands of dollars renovating this church.
Since this is a Muslim country, it is very hard to get permission to start, or for that matter, to build a church. Many of our members cried when they saw the damaged church.
But after a few days of cleanup, the church gathered to worship for the very first time since the earthquake.
God has not called us to live for ourselves, but to live for others and to serve others.
And so, like Lenny's church, members of the Batak Protestant congregation are reaching out to earthquake victims.
We too have opened an outreach center primarily to take care of our church members, but it's also open to the public.
Recently, CBN's Operation Blessing partnered with several churches here to deliver much-needed relief supplies to some of the hard-to-reach areas of the disaster zone. You know, for Operation Blessing, it's not just about getting to the hardest-hit areas in a particular devastation, but also the hard-to-reach areas. So we're heading to this very village at the top of this mountain, and the only way to get there is on a motorbike or walk, and in this case, we're taking the motorbike. Some 1,500 people live in this village that's evenly split between Christians and Muslims. Several of the homes up here were destroyed. The village elder, who's a Muslim, tried repeatedly to get local government officials to bring aid to the people. They refused and instead asked the villagers to make the trip down the mountain to an area hospital.
That's why I'm so glad that Operation Blessing is here today. Nobody else wanted to come up here since this village is very difficult to get to. It means a lot to us that you are here.
Local Christian volunteers joined the Operation Blessing team to deliver food and water. Several Operation Blessing doctors were also on hand. It's all part of what believers here say is the quiet heroism of survivors reaching out to fellow survivors and giving them the strength and courage to move on. George Thomas, CBN News, Padang, Indonesia.